This place is amazing and fun. We'll first take a look at the trees, plants, and birds along the trail, and then head over to the scenic river. We'll finish up with the caves and ladder. This is such a beautiful and interesting area to go for a hike. I've been here a couple of times before, but only when I was hiking on the Bruce Trail, so I've just hiked right through, and today I'm going to try some of the other side trails. The Bruce Trail follows the Niagara Escarpment, and what this means is dramatic rocks, moss, caves, and crevices. It's spring, and that means a lot of birds migrating through southern Ontario. It's the best time to see the colorful warblers. I could hear a blue-headed vireo up high in the trees, and finally it came down lower, but I only got blurry pictures. But then, who is that hiding behind the leaf? A blue-headed vireo. So exciting. And spring means trilliums. The white trillium is the official flower of Ontario. At this time of the year, mid-May, the forest floor is just a blanket of trilliums. I think it looks so nice. There are mostly white trilliums here, but if you look very carefully, you should be able to find some pink ones. I have not seen a single red one yet, though. And look at these May apples. Let's check and see if the fruit is growing under these umbrella branches. The fruit is not generally eaten by people. One more thing about spring, the insects have come out. They're a little irritating, but they're not biting. The trees on this part of the trail are mostly oak, maple, and this tree. It is generally a small understory tree with vertical lines on the bark. It's an ironwood. It might look like the bark of a white oak, but the ironwood usually is peeling. It's in the birch family, and as the name suggests, it has extremely hard wood. Look at these beautiful ostrich ferns. They are still unfurling at the top, and these are the ferns that people pick when they're small shoots called fiddleheads. They are delicious to eat when cooked, but don't go looking in conservation areas for these delicacies because harvesting is generally not allowed. I'm pretty sure I got a picture of a Blackburnian warbler. Maybe not a great picture, but a picture nonetheless. The trail enters into a forest of cedars and white pines, a nice place for a little snack before exploring the river. This is Black Creek. There are lots of lovely cedar trees down by the river. This area was a hub of industry in the 1800s for three main reasons: lumber, limestone, and a river that could power a mill. The river was dammed and a sawmill was built, as well as a woolen mill. The Grand Trunk Railway went through here in the 1850s, and this area was booming. Oh, that is cold! But as so often happens, fire destroyed the mills and marked the end of this prosperous period. Limestone was another important industry for about 75 years. We will see a lime kiln in just a few minutes. This is where extreme heat processed limestone into quicklime, which has many uses, such as making an early version of cement. It was also used in agriculture to help with acidic soils and as a whitewash on walls. You know the expression being in the limelight? This comes from quicklime being used for early theater spotlights. This is the site of the sawmill, and you can see the old pipe that brought water to the turbine. This arch and part of the foundation is still standing. This is a draw kiln, which was an improvement over the earlier set kilns. The set kilns had to be cooled to extract the quicklime, but this design here allowed for continuous burning. Limestone and fuel for burning were dumped into the top, and the quicklime was extracted from the opening in the bottom. The top was built at the level of the rock behind to make it easier to load the kiln. One other historical building is the powder magazine for storing explosives that were used to blast the limestone. It was built in a natural depression in the old quarry floor. Okay, let's finish this hike by climbing through the rocks of the Niagara Escarpment. The top layer of the escarpment is dolostone, which is a type of limestone that is hard and difficult to erode. The underlayer is shale, which is soft and erodes easily. Because these two layers erode at different rates, cliffs, caves, and crevices are formed all along the escarpment. Well, it is looking like this is the same forest as the beginning of the hike. What a thoroughly enjoyable day. One last thing I saw from the parking lot were these two turkey vultures. Note the two-toned wings and the fingers on the ends. Here is the parking lot, and it is free. This area can be quite busy on weekends, though. There are no washrooms, but there is a porta potty. There is a 200-meter access trail, and then I went around the outside trail loop, which is 2.5 kilometers, to see the sawmill ruins, the kiln, the powder magazine. It is a detour of about 200 meters each way, so my total hike was 3.5 to 4 kilometers. This is where I visited the river, and here is the crevice and ladder. You can avoid this more difficult section by taking the radial rail trail around to the parking for a total of 4.5 kilometers. Or you could go this way and walk 300 meters along the road for a total of 3.5 kilometers.